All right, guys, so Chase and Ray are gone, and we're running out of daylight really fast, so we got to try and get out of here. We're going to moto out and see if we can make it. Okay. Oh, shit. You want me to take it? You okay?
I got you.
Ray, you good?
Yeah, baby! Dude, that was awesome. Oh, here's the crack. Oh, how embarrassing. All three of you. Embarrassing. Oh.
Yeah, Chancellor. Holy crap, I'm tired.
Okay, everyone. I think everyone else lost their way, and I'm on my way to winning this. At least the race portion of it.
She's coming for you.
And the DTR is a winner!
We did it! We did it! This thing freaking made it, and I can't believe it. That's so cool. What a badass trail, dude. That's awesome.
I didn't even lay my bike down. Did you crash?
There were like those slight tip over, like you get caught by a tree.
Surprised me. Dude, that was sweet.
That one's got a couple.
That
one's
was
pretty clean.
one of the most fun times I've had on a dirt bike.
I agree.
It was fun.
That was awesome.
I'd come back on this bike.
Let's do it again.
All right, cool. We did it, we finished. But now we're running out of daylight quick, so we gotta get back to the van. Once we get back and meet up with Ray and Chase, back at the warehouse, we're gonna go over everything, divvy the awards out, and
I'm gonna win.
let's get going.
Let's go before it's dark.
I'm gonna freaking win.
Okay guys, it's getting real dark. We don't have lights. We got a few miles left. Hopefully we can make it back to the vans in time.
All right, guys, so we made it through 5 miles of hell. We're now back at the warehouse and we're ready to talk about it. We're gonna talk about what we learned, what we thought of each of the bikes, how they did, our struggles, and we also have to give out some awards. So let's get right into it. I think first award is Lit Kit. So we all kind of voted between each other, and I think that Justin takes the cake on vintage.
Yes. Vintage.
Yeah, so his get up with the open face helmet, the flannel jacket, and the jeans.
Well, and that helmet came from another employee's mom that had that bike back in 1981. So it was a perfect fit.
Wes had a good outfit, but
That's
your
legit.
gear was current.
Yeah.
But it was the helmet and goggles worked. It was good.
I wanted to win that one. That kind of hurts, but
Yeah,
whatever.
the
So-
flannel shirt one.
so
The
Justin
Serape
takes the
seat
cake
cover
there.
didn't tip it over, huh? No Serape seat cover. That
The
didn't
seat
win it
cover
for
was
you?
cool.
Oh, Wes's seat. Oh yeah, the seat cover was good. I thought
You had to love the Serape
there was
seat
no
cover.
way I thought that thing was going to stay on the whole ride, and it's still going strong.
I'm pretty impressed with how that turned out. Yeah,
Pretty
the
good.
seat cover was legit. Okay, so also for bikes, we wanted to vote on bikes and who we thought won that idea. So Justin, his bike's got a lot of style. The DT was legit from start to finish. Everybody was stoked on that thing.
What topped it off though was the sheep skull you had on the front.
I don't know what animal that
That's
was.
like a cat or a dog.
We don't know what animal that was.
It had fangs. So I don't think sheep have fangs. At least
Oh yeah.
So wait,
maybe in Oregon, but not here.
Everyone's vampire sheep. I don't
okay,
know.
so wait, I got the lit kit and the coolest bike?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It came together. Everybody
Clean
voted.
house.
So
That's
that's what
awesome.
it was.
but you didn't get Titus pants, so sorry.
That's all right.
Maybe
Wes
at
wins
the
that
end
one
of the
every day.
ride. I don't know. Okay, next award we got to give out is who actually won the 5 Miles of Hell challenge. And one of the rules of the ride was to be able to finish 5 Miles of Hell. And there were only 3 of us that did that. Chancellor was first because he ditched the rest of us
They were going too slow.
and wanted to take the cake.
We're helping people.
Yeah,
Actually, you guys were racing and took the wrong turn. I was right behind him, took the right turn.
that's kind of true. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
he ditched us. So, yeah,
My
I guess
mic
let's
turned off. I couldn't. My battery died.
For the people that did finish, maybe that's a little lackluster for right now. Let's talk about Chase and Ray's experience. Why didn't they finish? Ray?
Because I won biggest cupcake.
Well, Ray was on the XR 500, which we'll talk about. But long story short, so Ray was getting pretty worn out, and if you go do this trail, you'll know it's physically exhausting. But Ray was pretty worn out. His bike was just front brake on the thing was non-existent.
Oh, it's so scary.
It's
I
bad.
basically walked down every downhill, and then I was so sketched out by it that it was just in my head constantly. So, no excuses though. I mean, everybody was on crappy bikes, so
So your
Right.
bike, so Ray was
I
worn
was
out.
not.
so
I did not do well.
Ray and I actually switched bikes for a little bit because I thought maybe my 450 would be a little bit more catering to Ray's bigger build, and it had a front brake on it. So he rode my 450, and then I rode Ray's XR. And we got to the third stop where you can
Third
actually,
exit.
the third exit where you can leave early if you need to. And just a combination of my bike was overheating pretty bad. We weren't quite sure how much more it had left in it. Ray was just pretty worn out. And so on that type of trail, it's still a ways to get back to the van. So we
Yeah.
didn't want to send one guy off on his own in case something did happen. So Ray and I went back to the van, and then these guys finished the rest of the ride.
But I will point out that Chase was really quick to volunteer for that, wasn't he?
He was like, I'll escort. I'll take one for the team and not finish this trail.
Yeah.
And we had 3 miles after that of 5 miles of hell still?
Oh yeah, that
So,
third exit is
the third
barely
exit
over
isn't-
halfway.
Yeah. The third exit isn't at the end. So
It's about the five mile mark. We had 3 to go. So.
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
So who won? What are you saying? I didn't know somebody actually
Yeah,
won.
Chancellor
Chance
won.
win.
Chance is
Finished
the
the
winner.
trail
First one out.
first.
Well,
All
first
right.
one out. So
First one
the
out.
people that finished, okay.
we're all winners.
We're all winners, and we're going to talk about my next point. But I feel like, me, Justin, and Chance on old crappy bikes, we finished the trail, which is pretty dang impressive. So.
Yeah.
But I think what most people want to know is how did the bikes do? Which one was the best? What was the worst? And what would we do differently?
Yep,
Doing
that's my
over
next
again.
point. So, most capable bike. I know we didn't really talk about this before, but I'm going to vote for Chance's TTR 225.
And I would vote for Chase's 450.
The 450 was good
Yeah.
because you had all the power you needed, but you had to really feather the clutch. It stalled easily, and that's just expected on that bike. So for me,
Yeah,
being a
it's a
lighter guy,
motorbike.
and I'm short, so I'm just paddling or trying to touch the ground half the time. But it stalled easy, but it had good power, so I was able to try different obstacles that some of the guys wouldn't, just because I had the torque to try and do it.
Well, the momentum. Yeah, you had
The
momentum.
and
Yeah.
modern
The-
suspension.
The DT did awesome. It didn't have momentum to hit stuff fast, and the forks would bottom out over everything. But that thing would just
like a
tractor
tractor.
up
Yeah.
anything. And then, you know, my feet were close to the ground. It was easy to paddle up stuff. I thought the DT did awesome. I'd take it through 5 miles of hell again.
Yeah, the 450, you couldn't just sit there and just like
Yeah.
you were sitting there feathering the clutch too much. And then I look over and JD just like all the way up, no problem.
That thing was awesome. It
Yeah.
surprised me.
Yeah.
Of the old bikes, I'd say the DT's got to
Yeah.
be the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes kicked ass on the YZ.
With no bottom end.
No
No
bottom
bottom end,
end.
just
Had to
bend.
ride really aggressive. Did awesome. Yeah, I'll never ride the XR in
Now,
there.
here's the thing though. The XR, first gear, that thing's a goat, man. It would tractor up stuff really well.
got the
Second
motor.
gear though is useless. It was just
a
no-
mile
no-
higher than the first gear, so it's like
Yeah,
brr.
there's a giant gap in power. So first gear is really all you have. But the hardest part about Ray's bike is if you do go with an older bike, you got to look at the front brake because that was way more important than we thought it was going to be, at least for Ray. Because when I was riding your bike, Ray, going down some of those hills was the scariest part of the whole day. I'd go up anything, I don't care.
Yeah.
Going down stuff with no front brake was the worst part of the whole day.
And you're climbing steep stuff all day. The downhills are just as steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and we were talking about it. The 23-inch front wheel is an advantage in that scenario where it's bigger, it rolls over the holes a little easier. But then the badness of it is compounded with a small drum brake. You're not gonna be able to stop it as easy.
Not to mention old tire that we didn't really have any 23-inch options for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I had no budget for it. Even
All
if we
right.
would have had a 23.
So, well, yeah, I guess we did talk about least capable bike. We'll vote that as Ray's, I guess.
Probably
right?
XR, yeah.
All right, moving on. Next up is our dab challenges that we had, or no dab challenges. So
Or all the dabs.
Ray takes the cake in Dab King. I think we all voted. So
Well,
I don't know.
Ray's foot peg to seat height ratio was so low that if he put his feet on the pegs, his knees were above his elbows.
Mine's the
These are
opposite.
getting
See, I
bars.
get to count how many times I put both feet on the pegs.
Oh, okay. Should have an award for that.
winning. Yeah, nice.
Who did
Okay,
win
so
it?
who won? Who won no dab? This guy?
Oh, so
I got
close.
to admit, I thought I had that in the bag, but
I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed in you guys. You let me win on a bike with no bottom end.
that's true.
And it's not like
It's
they
true.
were. It's not like they were
But-
easy no dabs.
I must
So-
say most of the no dab challenges were in the deep sand.
The hardest
So that
no
was a
dab
little
challenge.
rough.
Yeah,
Who won?
the TTR.
Two,
The
I
hardest
think.
We had
section that
two.
we did the
We had
no
two.
dab
There was
on,
two of them in
JD
the
won,
sand.
Was
which
there?
was
Yeah.
everyone dabbed except for in that sandy wash, the long one.
That was pretty tough.
That was the
yeah.
only one that you didn't dab on. Everyone else was paddling through
I was
that.
getting a
That's
little
right.
cocky, and
Yeah.
I felt like I gotta fail on one of these at least. So
Wes won the overall. Wes won the overall, but JD definitely won the hardest no dab. I'll give him that.
I didn't want to stick out too much.
all right, next
right,
up
no
is
doubt.
most carnage. What do you guys think?
Chase.
Chase,
Chase.
for
Yes.
sure. At the crux.
Yeah,
At
You
the
know,
crux.
I got to hand it to him for going for it. I mean, he wasn't afraid to just send it on whatever
Yeah.
obstacle.
That's a big part of being successful in 5 miles of hell. I feel like it's just having the gonads to be able to hold that throttle on.
Yeah, the
Get your
first,
momentum
they
up.
call it the wrecker stack. It was like right at the start of the day, and I have no hand guards, and I already know I can't break a lever, else I'll go over budget, and I've got radiators, but I was like, you know what, I'm out here, just got to do it, and so that was the start. But
And that was sketchy, but you made that one.
Kind
You
of.
picked the
Almost.
hard line.
Yep.
You picked the hard line. We took the easier line.
There was two sections I tried to do the hardest line that nobody else tried. It was the wrecker stack, and then the bottom part of the crux, where I just
Yeah.
went right up the middle.
I think you should have. You had the most capable
But yeah,
bike, dude.
I had a 450, which made it a little bit more confidence inspiring to try it.
yeah,
But the
for
crux is
The
where
crux
we're
is-
talking your gnarly crash.
sure.
was.
Replay
Yeah.
that in slow motion. It's gonna look
pretty good
good.
crash.
Smashed my left
The bike took a
radiator.
good fall.
He's the only one that showed his oil plug to the sky, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And he didn't break a lever on that.
I
I
bent,
know.
not
Came
even
down
on
the
that.
bar so hard.
That's because I moved
don't
him in as
understand.
far as I could. I bent a lever like a fish hook, but I didn't break one. So.
That's as hard to believe as him buying that bike for $150. I don't know.
I don't know. No, the best part is though, the only lever that broke on the day was me riding Ray's bike, and he has full wraparound handguards.
Yeah, that was amazing.
You'll figure.
So
yeah.
most carnage.
And JD's only tip
And
off
your
was
feet
me
were on the
knocking his
ground.
bike over.
Hey, I want to say though, we got the lever out to fix Ray's, and the one that he packed for his bike, and I don't think it fit. Is that?
It did not.
It
correct?
did not fit. Luckily, Justin had one for his DT.
Luckily, my DT.
We had
lever
to
fit.
take pliers and bend the perch to get it to fit in
So come prepared with parts that actually work on your bike. I think
Okay.
there's a lesson learned there.
So most gnarly, Chase, you
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
I'll take
cool.
it.
Okay, so biggest obstacle, who cleaned it the best, and I think we can all agree that Josh behind the camera. We'll play that back too, but on the CRF 230,
Yeah, Josh
He
killed
killed that
me,
thing.
the two
We know-
cameramen.
Yeah, he's not supposed to count on this, but man, he did such a good job, and we all
we got to
sucked
give
it
him
on a
up. So
230,
we got to
yeah.
give him
What about
points.
honorable mention for Brandon?
And Brandon, both the
Yeah.
camera
Yeah,
guys.
camera
Chancellor
guys
caught
killed
it like a frisbee at the top. He caught his bike like a frisbee. It was awesome.
I would say like disc golf frisbee. I don't know.
And they're
Looked a little
both
heavy.
tall guys on CRF 230s, and they rocked it.
Yeah, they crushed it.
And we were pretty concerned, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sorry,
weren't- we
Brandon.
didn't know-
but
we weren't
I didn't think you were
yeah.
gonna make it.
yeah.
Brandon was the
Killed
one
it.
having the most fun of all of us. He'd scream and hoot and holler every time we got to the top of something.
All right. Most skill on the trail shown. No tip overs. Justin.
Yeah,
Yes.
Justin got it.
Justin had that one. So we had our highly scientific way to track the tip overs and scrapes on the rocks, the handguards. So we put stickers on each end of our handguard. And at the end of the ride, we looked at them, and Justin, the only scrapes on his were from Chase. Chase, do you care to explain that?
Well, I was riding Ray's bike and I came out of the top of this obstacle and just wheelie out of control. I didn't fall over, but I hit JD's bike on the exit and knocked it over. And I knocked his skull off your fender. He was so mad at me.
Yeah, I
He
wasn't
couldn't
happy
stand
about
it.
that.
But
He was
he
pissed.
did, to
Yeah.
my credit, he put his bike in a terrible spot.
I did. I probably should.
Well, he was just like, that obstacle was too hard or too easy, so one more obstacle in the way, I guess.
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so who broke down?
Nobody
Mentally-
broke down.
Mentally
Nobody.
or
Physically.
Mentally, physically.
That was probably the biggest surprise. If you'd have asked me before we did this if I thought every bike was going to make it through without anything breaking, I'd have said, nah, you're crazy. But
I agree.
other than a broken lever, nothing happened on the day that we had to fix
Yep.
mechanically.
I gotta say that, like, honestly, when I bought my bike and we were doing that first interview with getting them here and just first checking them out, I was feeling pretty sick about my
Choice.
decision that I made. I didn't want to be that guy that made it a mile into the ride and had some DNF. I don't know, but
see, I was just the opposite. I thought, man, this thing's gonna be a-okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. As bad as rough as Ray's was running and how much smoke it was putting out, I was nervous, but that thing was tough.
Yeah, no, it just
It
tracked
ran
her.
better and better the longer we rode it, I
for
think.
sure, she
Maybe.
was having a good
Wasn't
time.
bad.
Did you agree with that?
As far as it run, yeah, I mean, it fired up. It did everything well. So I was surprised by that, but
Yeah, mechanically, the only worry I had on the day was towards the end of it, after Ray and I had switched bikes. I'm not a clutcher. I don't really abuse it much, but Ray got on my bike and it started overheating probably within 2 minutes of hitting ride, and I was like, oh man. And then when we got to that third exit point, I asked JD, I said, hey, how's my bike doing? And JD just looks at me and goes, it's not good. And then you see Ray come over the hill, and you like, at some points, like Ray disappears in the plume of smoke, so.
Steam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was-
hey,
that was
hey,
the scary part.
now part of that is somebody had smashed and broke the radiator earlier, so there was already some things going on.
That's true.
It was.
I would
That's
put
true.
75% of the blame on me.
It was losing radiator from two places.
That was the
The
only
hole in
scare.
the radiator
and
and
the
the
overflow.
overflow for sure.
Hey, it's when it stops smoking that's when you got to worry, because
That's
as
right.
long as it's smoking, you know you got coolant coming out. So,
Yeah.
Good point. All right.
so I guess to answer the question that who broke down, we did run into some guys from Denver, and this one guy was on a CR250, and
That was bad.
the bike didn't make it. They ended up having to go 2 up out, and the bike stayed overnight. I don't know if they ended up going back to get it or not. But the pipe was so bent that there was space between the pipe and the header, or the head on this.
We,
on the
we
cylinder,
actually
so.
stripped down Chase's bike and gave him parts. They had destroyed the rotor, and they didn't know how many
Sprocket.
teeth. Or sorry,
Sprocket,
the sprocket.
yeah.
They didn't know how many teeth were on the sprocket. So we actually gave him the chain, the sprocket, and he had bent the handlebars where it looked like a flat tracker. I mean, it was
Yeah.
gnarly. So we gave him a handlebar, we gave him the sprocket, we gave him a
Sprocket,
chain, and then
Said good luck tomorrow.
yeah, they were going to go in and get it the next day.
That-
The XR outperformed the CR250.
Well, that guy was so tired that it got to a point where he didn't even try and ride up obstacles. He would just ghost ride his bike up it and hope it stayed up on top. And his bike progressively got worse. First you see him, he's got his header is separated from the head. And then you see him again, he's missing like a fender. Next time you see him, his handlebars bent. And then next thing you know, he's just walking out of the trail.
And I didn't know
No bike.
fat bars could bend that far without breaking.
I didn't
That was
either.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Like
I didn't either.
literally like this.
All right, so moving on, let's talk about the assistance out on the trail. Who needed it the most?
Enough said.
Sorry, Ray, but yeah, he takes the cake on that one. And who gave the most help? I think we would all say Chase was pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And
most time.
JD,
Yeah.
JD was
Riding
there.
Ray's bike, so yeah, that was good help.
Chancellor was helpful till he heard the end of the trail calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just left.
And it was
I left
worthless.
this.
Worthless.
That is something like for anyone that's going to do this is don't ditch your friends or try and get too far ahead because
It's not worth the award.
it's not.
Well-
it's not worth the bragging rights. But no, it really is though. Like definitely stick with your friends. Don't get too far ahead because that trail is rough the whole way through, and it could change like that. You know, where something breaks or somebody crashes, and yeah. So stick with them.
Cool. Okay, next one I had is most energy at the end of the trail.
I don't know. You,
Oh, well, just because your bike could do whoops going back to the truck.
Dude, I took it on that one, yeah. Me and Brandon, the camera guy, I think had the best time out on 5 miles of hell. It was so
I had a
freaking
better
fun.
time. I had a
JD wants
better
to go
time.
do it again.
I don't think so. I'm good to take this thing on 5 miles of hell
Me
again.
too. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it this weekend.
Okay,
All right.
we're beating 42 minutes in. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Good luck.
Most under budget, I take the cake on that one. $58 under
It's a
budget.
spare, man.
Nice. Good job.
We want to talk
Nice.
about that? What'd you end up, Chase? You were right at the cusp.
I was like $8 under budget, and I knew that if I broke a lever, I was going to be over, and I did not have full wraparound handguards, so I stayed under.
Chance?
I was about $4 under.
I I held off on handguards, but when I had 40-something bucks left, I said, yeah, I better do it. So I ended up, after handguards, $1.28 to spare.
Wow.
So if I fouled a plug on that, I'd have been out.
Yeah.
No.
Ray,
I think
you,
I was only like 27 under budget or something. So
it's not
I had
bad
a little
though.
bit, but there really
Pretty good.
wasn't anything else to add.
Yeah, we made custom skid plates. That was good.
Yeah.
That was needed.
Our scrounge skills were clutch for this challenge, for sure. And fab skills, I guess.
And
Chase
what-
and I ended up making a skid plate. Who else made a skid
I
plate?
made a
JD
skid
made
plate.
one.
You
Yeah.
made a skid plate, yeah.
Whoever,
Oh, yours
whoever
was the
Chase
best.
scrounged the bike from, whoever Chase scrounged the bike from is still looking for it. So scrounge skills were on point.
He's gonna watch this video and be pissed.
Nobody believes that. Nobody still believes that.
I got the
I
bill
don't
of
think
sale
any of
in
the
my
viewers are
truck.
gonna
I
believe
got
that.
the bill of sale.
Yes, it's been notarized and everything.
They're just jealous.
That's awesome. Okay, so next, I just want to talk about keys to our success. What do you guys think were the biggest things that made it so we were able to do this challenge, complete it with this little budget?
I would have to say no deferred maintenance. We spent a lot of time making sure our bikes were good, making sure the oil was clean, making sure filters were clean, making sure we had a little bit of brakes at least on most bikes. Otherwise, you're not making it
We
through.
did a test run out at West Mountain to
Yeah,
make sure the bikes
test
ran
run.
good. That was important. Test race suspension.
I would also say that for the four of us, I know having a little bit of mechanical skill and Chase having Charles.
Hey, I'll admit it. Charles helped me out.
Hey, I gotta. Chase did quite a bit on his own. I was proud of him.
Yeah,
He
he put
did.
stickers on and everything.
No, he did a lot. I was in here one night. The thing was just a frame, and he had the engine and everything.
You just
in.
didn't see Charles go whoosh out of the
No,
dark
Charles
and
is
back
gone.
in.
He's like the elves behind
No.
doing all the work.
That was
Nah,
a
he
good
did a
learning
lot.
experience, though. I liked it. I enjoyed every second of rebuilding that entire motor because I'd never completely rebuilt something at all like that. So I learned a lot. So I actually enjoyed the whole process. It was a lot of
Yeah,
late nights, but it was good.
I think we all did. I mean, obviously, the trail is the pinnacle of this challenge, but we all had such a good time working on the bikes, fixing them up,
Well, it was
figuring out,
fun.
you know,
Yeah, it
common
was
problems.
fun figuring out the parts because a lot of these old bikes are not necessarily in our system like they, like you'd expect. So you got to do a little bit of forensics and find out that the parts are really there. You just got to figure out which ones fit and what makes, what makes sense on the bike and what matches up to it. And then,
I gotta
Gets
say
it to
though,
work.
I was shocked how much stuff we had for our old bikes in the OEM diagrams.
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was
I
a
was
few
too.
things missing. I mean, we didn't have a piston kit for mine, but we added that. So there
I
was a
was
few
never
things
worried.
that I was missing, but
I had a piston kit, but nowhere near in my budget. So.
yeah. I mean, we carry a lot of stuff for a DT175. That surprised me.
That is pretty awesome. We had crank seals for me. If we didn't have those, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah,
That would have been.
That wouldn't have worked.
I
Yeah,
would just
for
say
sure.
the biggest thing I learned is just having all the tools and everything, like, because for example, like with Ray's lever, it didn't fit, and if you didn't have those pliers to bend the clutch perch,
Or a DT175 lever.
or a different lever, like I'd have been like totally screwed. I'd have
You
been
weren't prepared.
the clutch worked, but it was barely hanging on, and that would have like made or broke the whole day.
So you're saying make sure your spare parts fit your bike before you take
make
them?
sure your spare parts fit
Yeah.
your bike, or just make sure you have all the tools that you're gonna
Make sure somebody don't break your levers.
Yeah, what were you doing letting Chase ride your
While
bike?
I'm breaking Ray's
Risky.
levers, he's running my
Risky.
bike out of coolant.
That's
so
right.
Trade off.
All right, so next thing I want to talk about real quick is just what each of us thought made a bike a good bike for 5 miles of hill.
450 was good just because of the torque to really just have fun trying to get up obstacles that these guys couldn't because they were underpowered.
For me, I'm saying air cooled because no freaking issues for any of us overheating, as far as we know anyway.
For me, I'm saying on an old used bike, a two-stroke. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot less stuff that
They
can go
love
wrong.
good too.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot that could break on that thing.
Yeah. I like the XR, it just breaks. I mean, looking at Chancellor, similar type performance and everything, but just having that disc front brake would have made a complete difference to the day.
It really
Sure.
was a difference. It was awesome.
Yeah, that brings me to what makes a bike a bad bike for 5 miles of hell. And I think all of us with drum brakes can agree that they're not ideal for, especially those super steep descents where,
Drum brakes, anything
You're squeezing.
without a lot of bottom end power. I mean, you're a good rider, so you did good on the YZ125, but that is not an ideal bike. You want
No.
something with a little grunt.
I gotta say, I was pretty surprised with it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I would also say, maybe not something thought about too often, is with the XR, that thing is a lot of effort to kick over. So if you're getting worn down and tired on the trail and that thing
Oh,
stalls,
the button. Oh, watching Chancellor with the button.
E-start.
E-start,
And then
best thing ever.
Ray's bike, it's literally me, like everything I got to kick that thing over, and you're hoping it fires up because it was hard.
If these guys are doing this challenge, though, I would say that these two bikes are anomalies. I don't know that you're gonna find that good of a deal, or a bike with freaking E-start for the
For
budget that we
$500.
did. So I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Those things make it pretty nice. If you don't have them, it's gonna kind of suck.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing I want to talk about is the timeline of getting through 5 miles of hell. So, what do you guys think?
You mean how fast we did it?
Oh, it was 42
Well-
minutes.
Yeah, 14 minutes. We beat those gnarly route guys. They owe us a T-shirt, I think.
Yeah,
That's right.
let's get it. Let's get it
Well,
going.
we started, like 9 o'clock in the morning?
9:30.
We're probably on the trail at 9:30.
9:30, 10.
And literally,
Realistically,
We
got back
it got
on-
dark, what,
the sun was
7:30?
going down.
Yeah,
when
they
we
got
rolled
they
in.
got back as the sun was going down. You guys didn't have
So-
more than 30 minutes left of usable light.
We got back
Well,
with
Well, that's
no
tough.
light.
I mean, some of that's filming and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
We were
So,
stopping a lot to get the shots.
waiting for
and-
Ray.
So it's hard to say.
so I don't know. Chance has done. I guess you guys have done this ride before too, but he was saying like 2 to 4 hours with a good group, and you guys aren't stopping very much, right?
A few
I mean,
breaks for snacks, water, but you should be good between 2 and 4 hours if you're got a good group of riders, all decent.
Yeah, where we were filming and stuff, it definitely added to the length for sure. But that's kind of what you can expect with that. Old bikes are fun, and we had a freaking blast
Yeah.
doing this challenge.
Old bikes are fun.
Electric start is fun.
I gotta tell you, I was bummed when we were done because it's been fun working on them. The riding was fun. The testing up at the mountain here was fun.
I
It's
agree.
fun working on, but I was
We got to
stressed,
come up
though.
with another
It'll
challenge.
be fun to watch them go.
Ray,
I- you know,
Ray hates
Ray's
this
done.
thing. He's like kidding.
You know, I had so
I
much.
have no desire to ride that thing ever again.
I had so much
Ever.
fun on mine. It reminded me of back in the day when I was a teenager getting into motorcycles, where I had to fix up some old piece of junk. Those were good times. I had a lot of fun on this. So I'm probably going to keep the DT, and I think we need to come up with some other challenges, some other rides, some other
I agree.
destinations.
Oh, heck yeah. I know this was a
dunes.
pretty good one to start off with, but we can think of something
We do.
for next time.
Find a group of buddies that loves to ride. You don't have to do the old bike $500 challenge, but you can still find something to challenge yourselves. Like, where as a group you got to do it, and it just makes it more fun. But if you have the chance to do what we did, you set the budget there. You could go up a little bit if you want to, but I mean, all in all, from start to finish, like, that was by far one of the funnest video projects I've done at Rocky Mountain in 5 years.
That's the thing. People talk about, oh, it's so expensive to ride motorcycles. Honestly, we had a dang good time. I mean, I've been complaining a lot about the XR, but that is one of the gnarliest trails in the U.S. I don't care what anyone says. But normal riding, that thing is good, cheap fun. That, once again, if all your friends are on it,
Yeah.
Level playing field.
level playing field, they're a hoot. So
So you don't have to have the latest and greatest to have fun on a
No.
dirt bike. is what
You just
you're
got to have an
Exactly.
06 450.
The smiles per dollar ratio on all these bikes was really high.
saying. Yes, it was.
I'll be honest, I was jealous though. Like, even though I was on a current bike or more current, I still was envious of these guys on their 2-strokes because it just looked like it made it even that much more fun.
It was a
the
dang
old
good
bike.
time.
The old bikes, yep.
All right, guys, so we really appreciate you following along with us on this journey we've gone through. It was a dang good time, and if you guys want to see more, make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Chase.